Welcome to Source BMX. I'm Van Homan here at Ray's Bike Park in Cleveland, Ohio, with a legendary all-around BMX talent, a man who has all the accolades to back it up. X Games medals, Nora Cups, covers, iconic video parts. The nicest guy in BMX, Chris Doyle. Today, we're going to check out his signature version of the S&M Credence MOD Frame. You ready, Chris?
I'm ready, Van.
All right, Chris, so before we dive into your bike, someone with an iconic brand of trail riding such as yourself seems to be a perfect fit for a brand like S&M. How did you end up riding for S&M, and what does that mean to you?
What does it mean to me? I mean, it was, we've kind of been over this before in different interviews and stuff, but like, I mean, it means a lot to me because I, grew up on S&Ms. I rode countless different S&Ms. I rode the Challenger, I rode the Homes, and then, of course, I got sponsored for riding by a different brand. So to ride for S&M this many years later, older in my age, it's really cool to see things come back full circle and get back on an S&M, a very similar bike to the one that I rode when I was 15 years old. So like you said, it's an iconic brand, and I'm just happy to have my name affiliated with S&M.
All right, Chris, so you're riding the S&M MOD Credence Frame. I believe this was designed by James P. Nutter, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Called the MOD after, I believe it's called Mounds of Dirt, his trails back in Massachusetts. So yeah, I mean, and Nutter is kind of like East Coast legend. So, and it's certainly a guy I've always liked to watch ride that I don't think enough people ever really appreciated when he was, really, really killing it. So I'm stoked to be on his signature frame and to have, my little spin on it as well, my colorway with the Doyle sticker. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked on it.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Nutter designed this for speed and comfort, a 74.5 head tube, 13.6 rear end, 9-inch standover. Now, while this seems most at home on the trails, it also seems like it has a forgiving enough geometry that it's kind of all-purpose in a sense too.
Yeah, you said it best. I mean, it's a simple machine, and it's just kind of what you need it for. You can ride. Like, you can ride street, you can ride trails, you can ride the park and feel totally comfortable on all things. Whereas you see a lot of bikes nowadays, like, you can specifically ride that bike on street because they have such a steep head tube angle, or people set their bike up just for the trails or just for this or just for that. Like, this is kind of an all-terrain machine, and for as much as I ride anymore, unfortunately the bike lives in my truck a lot of the year, so it's nice just to be able to pull it out and just kind of feel comfortable on whatever I'm riding.
On anything, yeah, exactly. Okay, so now you touched on it a little bit, but what makes this your signature edition?
Gosh, well, obviously the Doyle sticker. It's like wearing a jersey with your name on it. So that's a little pretentious maybe, but I dig it. But no,
it's well earned. I think it's well earned.
So no, I mean, what makes it mine is just like, it's funny how like you were talking with Shane Hallahan. He runs a 21 1/4 top tube, whereas I've run a 21 1/4 top tube for years, but I'm 6'3", and I've always run a longer bike. I've always run a straight cable when like it was really, the fashion was to run the gyro and then be brakeless. Like
I had the gyro.
I know you did. My bike really hasn't changed much in the last like 25 years. So for me, it's all about being comfortable. And I think what makes it mine is just, I've always had a high seat. I've always had a loose head.
The seat's not part of the frame, Chris.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Talking about the frame.
Oh, sorry. I was just going on overall bike, but
so the stickers and the color is what makes it your frame.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, Chris, your forks. You're riding the Fit V3 blade fork. It has a mellower 33 millimeter offset, nice tapered legs so the pegs don't get hung up when you're grinding handrails. What's important to you about this fork, and why is it your fork of choice?
I didn't know what the rake was. I didn't know any of that information until you just told me that. So I don't really know. I think when I was picking out a fork, I just needed something that looked similar to what I was running before, and that was this fork right here. So, and you mentioned like when I'm grinding handrails, I haven't done a handrail in a very long time. So it's more about like, as long as it grinds on the coping of a ramp.
But that too, it doesn't get hung up on the coping.
When I use my pegs, I need everything to be out of the way. So, yeah, I appreciate the information on the forks because I didn't know any of that. But
same fork I use.
Yeah. So and you and I are from the same generation, so I'd imagine our bikes are very similar. So yeah, if it's good for you, it's good for me. So
I think the point for me is that like I like the mellower offset, and also I want a fork I can trust, So
what does a mellower offset mean for you? Like, what is that? Why do I like that?
So you like that because you like to go fast and you like your bike to feel stable. So, a more like techie street rider would ride a steeper fork so he can do nose wheelies and things like that. We're not trying to do nose wheelies. We just don't want to loop out. We want our bike to feel safe and solid when we're hitting big jumps.
Okay. That's why I like this fork.
Yeah. See, I knew it. All right, Chris. So I always thought of you as a very detailed-oriented person, someone who doesn't have a single hair out of place, figured everything was perfection. But maybe I'm wrong because you tell me these are mystery handlebars. You have no idea what kind of handlebars you have on your bicycle right now.
These could be S&M handlebars. They could be Fit. They could be Kink. They could be Demolition. I was, literally, Stu was in town, and the session before Stu came to town, I'd crashed, and I'd bent my previous handlebars. And I was like, well, I need to put new bars on. And I'm like searching through my garage, and I found these. And I don't know what brand they are. I don't know the sweep. I don't know the upsweep. I don't know what ride. I think they might be like 9-inch rise. Literally, and I usually am like very finicky, like where my bars are, like how high they are. Like I was like crazy with all that. And I just threw these on, and I went and rode Hazelwood because Stu was in town. And I was like, okay. And I also, that same day, I put grips on, which was like a nightmare. So it took a couple runs to get used to it. But now, like, yeah, I hope they're not some like weak prototype bar or something like that. But no, seriously, been like just sitting in my garage, like literally they had like serious dust on them, and I just like kind of wiped them off. I'm like, I was looking for a logo, like usually like before you shave them down, you can see like there'll be like a logo on there or something. There's nothing. So yeah, mystery handlebars. All right, no one knows, but they feel good. They feel fine. Yeah, I'm somehow making it through.
All right, Chris. So you are going to need something to keep those mystery handlebars in place. You have the Credence Turtleneck stem. You kind of mentioned before you had ridden a Challenger before. This stem is kind of inspired by the Challenger stem, but a little more narrower and kind of internal cutouts to make it lighter. So kind of a modernized Challenger stem.
It came in a longer length too than the Challenger stem, from what I know. But I always liked the look of the Challenger stem, and I always really wanted to run one. When I was, of course, like when I rode for DK, I always had a DK stem. But like when I was on my old S&M homes, I always rode a redneck, which is the front load stem. But like I always sweated the Challenger stem, but they always looked a little bit too short for me. And when Clint had this stem come out, I sweated it really hard. And then when I got on S&M, I think that was like the first thing that I really wanted. I was like, I want that stem. I love the look of it, and I appreciate you knowing all the tech stuff about it. But for me, it was like look, strength, and all that. Like it really, I think it's the best looking stem on the market.
I would concur. Yeah, and like you said, a little longer, has a 53 millimeter reach.
Yeah. Whereas I think the Challenger had like a 49 or a 50.
Okay.
So that 3 millimeters.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in a different era.
So yeah, I like the length on it too. So yeah. For a minute there, I was running a stem that had a 60 millimeter reach. That was
what?
Yeah. It was an old like Demolition stem. I don't know.
60 millimeter reach.
But yeah, this is perfect. It's good.
All right, Chris. Let's talk about your drivetrain. You've got the Fit blunt cranks with an S&M X-Man sprocket and an Odyssey Bluebird chain. Obviously, when you're pedaling fast to something, you want to be able to trust your drivetrain. Why are these your parts of choice?
Well, honestly, I had S&M send me a new sprocket recently. I meant to like upgrade my back wheel because I did a little bit of racing over the summer. So I really wanted to upgrade my drivetrain to something that wasn't as hard to push, because this is a 28.9, and coming out of the gate, it's like, it's trying to push. It's so hard. So everyone would like smoke me out of the gate, and it's really bad for racing. Don't run a 28.9 if you're racing. But for everything else, I got into running like a harder gear for when I was like riding street and like pedaling at gaps and things like that. So I always liked having a harder gear. There was always like a little bit more that you had in the tank. So I always like the harder gear ratio, the 28 and the 9. But I'm a big fan of like how the X-Man sprocket looks, and of course Odyssey hooked me up with the chain and a variety of other parts, which we can get into later. But yeah, it's a pretty simple drivetrain, not good for racing, but I do have another sprocket at home. I just haven't upgraded the wheel set.
So this is your freestyle sprocket, not your race sprocket.
This is my freestyle sprocket. My race bike's going to be a little bit more teched out. We'll do that one next.
Okay. And then obviously the Bluebird chain has been holding up, trustworthy on the racetrack and the freestyle parks.
Yeah, like it's been holding up great. I mean, you don't really know how important a chain is until you break one. True story, man. I had a different brand's chain on years ago, and I was pedaling at this gap in Pittsburgh. I was going as fast as I possibly could, and like literally maxed out. The chain snaps, and I slid for like, I don't know, 30 feet on this like crazy gravel. It's funny because, sorry, stories.
Good story.
Dude, Doyle was like shooting the gap, and he didn't see me crash. He just sees me like slide into his frame, and he's like, "What happened?" I'm just like literally like one of the biggest like flat gaps I've ever done. I was fully maxed out. Chain snaps.
Trust your chain. You got to trust your chain.
When you have the Odyssey Bluebird chain, you don't have to worry about that.
Perfect. Excellent. What about your fit blunt cranks? You got 175 millimeters. A lot of people are going to shorter cranks these days. Obviously, I wouldn't expect that from you, but why do you like a more traditional crank arm length?
Honestly, I like 180 millimeters. That's usually my length of choice. I went over to the UK a couple years ago, and the airline lost my bike, so they had to piece together. I had to piece together a new bike.
I remember that. You were on my team. You were on my team at the Battle Hastings.
Oh, that was even before that.
You're losing bikes everywhere.
First Anthem trip, went to the UK, they lost my bike, and they pieced together a bike for me. And I was like, hey, can I get some 180 millimeter cranks? And they're like, no one runs 180s. And I'm like, what? So they gave me 175s, and I was like, oh yeah, these are better. So 175 is like it's like the length of choice now. So
okay.
Yeah.
So you actually did like it when you went down a little bit.
I did like it, yeah. I didn't realize what I was missing, Okay. I kind of had to lose my bike to find a new crank arm size.
Excellent. All right, Chris, let's talk about your pedals. The Odyssey Trail Mix pedals. Seems very fitting for you. Trail-specific pins. What is it you like about this pedal, and why do you choose metal over plastic like everyone's running these days?
People still running a lot of plastic pedals?
Most people, yeah.
Oh, no, I don't think I could run plastic pedals. It's
probably not trail riders, but a lot of riders.
Yeah, because you never know what the trail conditions are going to be like. If it's a little bit wet, I feel like it's so easy to slide off of a plastic pedal. Whereas like with metal, you have a little bit more like predictability. Like your feet can be a little wet, a little dirty, and you're still going to be okay. So I need a pedal that is, girthy. I mean, I have big feet. I wear a size 13 shoe, so it's nice to have a sturdy pedal underneath my big ass foot. But yeah, you need something that's like durable. I've had these pedals for a long time, actually. Long before Odyssey started hooking me up with parts. I actually bought these at the wheel mill because I'd broken a previous pair of pedals, and they've held up perfectly.
Are they the sealed or the loose ball versions?
I believe they're the sealed. Because I've never had a problem with them, which is not good for BMX. Like, you can't make a part that's going to last forever because you won't make any money. But these have been great.
We seem to have a lot in common because I have the same. I've been running the same pedals, and they lasted so long. Yeah.
It's another thing I never think about. Like, I never have to worry about my pedals. It's like they're a constant, consistent thing that I don't stress about. And they've never how sometimes like a pedal will get like really loose and it starts to like really flutter a lot when you take your feet off. Like, these have always like been pretty sturdy, they just don't roll too much. So
all right, Chris, so I notice you're still rocking some Duo parts on this. The Corey Martinez grips, your seat setup, your front tire. Kind of give us some background on the whole Duo thing and why you still choose to run some of these parts.
Well, Duo was started primarily by Steve Budendeck and Corey Muse, and they brought me in as like a third party, like another guy to be involved with the brand. So all of the parts, now Duo's recently been sold to a different company, and Steve and Corey don't really have anything to do with it anymore. But everything that I have duo-wise was designed by one of my best friends, Corey Muse. And like I love the tire. I'd be running it on the back too, but it got like too bald. Like this is my last duo stunner tire, so I'm pretty bummed about that. But yeah, I mean it's good stuff. I mean same day I put on the mystery handlebars as I put on my last pair of Corey Martinez grips. So this is like the last of a dying breed of like I really love this grip, and I don't want to run another one. So yeah, so it's a little bit of nostalgia. But it's also it's good stuff. Like that seat's great. I mean, how often do you need to replace a seat post? I love the Duo Stunner tires, like perfect width for me. The rear one got so bald that when I was racing, I was going around the berm. I was in first place, and I literally like just slid up the berm, crashed, almost took out the field. But like that was the end of that tire, so I had to put on a different one.
So basically, you kind of had some input on designing these products. Unfortunately, they're not available anymore, but they were really awesome products, so you're running them while you still have them.
Yeah, and I have like the original Duo seat in my garage still, and it's the one that they did the collab with like Rogue. So I still have that. So yeah, it's a little bit of nostalgia, but I think it was just great stuff.
All right, Chris, so while we're talking about tires, now that you can't get the Duo Stunner tires all the time, you have the Fit FAF on the back here. So how has that been as a replacement? And I'd also be curious what kind of tire pressure you run.
Tire pressure about 85 PSI, 85 to 90. But yeah, the Fit FAF tire is great. I really like it. It's got some knobby to it. It took a little bit of getting used to, especially when I was riding like concrete parks. It like kind of washes a little bit more. But no, it's good. Like I had to just get used to it. It's fine.
So it's just an adjustment. You've been running the same tire for a long time, so you had to get used to it, but you like it.
I like it. Yeah, I dig it.
All right, Chris, let's talk about your wheels. You've got that Odyssey Anti-Gram V2 cassette hub in the rear. You've got hazard lights front and rear, the Vendero hub in the front. One of the things I love about the Odyssey wheels is they come ready to rock right out of the box. You don't have to get a custom wheel, but you're getting a high performance wheel at a pretty reasonable price. What do you like about these? How are they holding up?
So far, so good. I was really stoked because I did a bike check a while ago, and my bike was like such a mishmash of like parts and sponsors and brands and all this other stuff. And after that bike check, Nuno hit me up and he's like, "Hey man, anything you need for your bike, just let me know." And I was like, I really liked the Odyssey wheels, so I was like scared to ask. And I was like, "Can I get some wheels?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll hook you up with the Vendero and the Enneagram." And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. Like, so like you said, fresh out of the box, straight to the bike. I didn't have to like worry about like, after like a couple sessions tightening up spokes or anything like that. It was just like solid, like, and that's what I need. I don't like working on a bike. So I just need something that's solid. I just put on and ride. And that's exactly what these wheels did for me. So big shout out to Odyssey and Nuno, Jim for the late in life hookup. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things I love about Odyssey in general. I feel like they offer pretty high performance products without like a overly inflated price tag. So I mean, speaking of which, let's talk about the brakes. You got the Evo 2.5s on there.
Yeah, they came in the same package as the wheels. So I was pretty excited. Yeah, it's good because I run my brakes on the chain stays. So naturally you don't want your chain clunking up against your brakes, so they're built to be like pretty low profile and they stay out of the way, which is cool. And I mean, I love brakes that are on the chain stay anyways, so to have like not have to worry about your chain hitting on the brakes and everything really makes a big difference. And then the brakes are connected to, I don't know what their brake setup is, but it's like you don't have to like cut it, you just put it, it's like all kind of like goes together, which again, I'm the worst bike mechanic, so anything I can just put on and not have to adjust too much, like perfect. Yeah,
amazing. And then all of that links up to your classic Tech 77 lever here.
The classics don't die, man. Like I have a couple of these Tech 77s in my garage, both new and used, and I'm literally going back to like the age of 13. I was running a Tech 77 lever with the custom bend. You put the wrench on the end, and you kind of customize it to your finger. So that's like, And it's funny how, like, you were just saying that Shane Hallahan runs a Tech 77, whereas I more attribute that to like being like the old guy thing. Like if I'm at a session and someone else is rocking the Tech 77 with a custom bend, we're like instant friends.
It all goes full circle.
Yeah, like we do the BMX handshake. We're like, Dad, Tech 77. Like,
back, the kids are doing it.
Shane's what, 14, 15? Like, I don't know. So if he's doing it, he's kind of leading the charge. Like, honest to God, if they stop, like, if I can't find one, if this breaks, and like, or if I didn't have any in backup, like, I might quit riding if I don't have that level. Like, I seriously might have to just hang it up. Be like, shit, that was a good run. Like, no more Tech 77, no more Chris Doyle.
That's a great endorsement, right there.
Yeah. So whoever's making these, just keep making them.
Chris, thank you for sharing your S&M build with us today. Everybody out there, make sure to check out the Source Bike Builder. There you can find pricing, spec, and availability on everything Chris Doyle is riding. SourceBMX.com.
Thanks, man.